السلام عليكم.
بسم الله. بسم الله. كويس. بسم الله. بسم الله. اوكي. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أصحاب السعادة، ضيوفنا الكرام، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. مرحبا بكم في رحاب الهيئة السعودية للمواصفات والمقاييس والجودة بمناسبة انعقاد ورشة عمل التوقيت الوطني للمملكة أهدافه ومتطلباته، التي تنظمها الهيئة في هذا اليوم الأحد 22 من شعبان لعام 1437 هجري، الموافق 29 من مايو لعام 2016 ميلادي، بمشاركة عدد من الخبراء والمختصين للتعريف بالتوقيت الوطني للمملكة العربية السعودية وارتباطه بالمواقيت العالمية، وطرق ربط الأنظمة المعلوماتية في القطاعات الحيوية بنظام توقيت موحد في قطاعات العمل الحيوية التي يتطلب عملها دقة في الوقت، مثل البنوك والمطارات وغيرها. الآن نستمع وإياكم إلى آيات بينات من القرآن الكريم يتلوها على مسامعكم الأستاذ عبد الإله بن عون.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. سبحان الذي خلق الأزواج كلها مما تنبت الأرض ومن أنفسهم ومما لا يعلمون. وآية لهم الليل نسلخ منه النهار فإذا هم مظلمون. والشمس تجري لمستقر لها، ذلك تقدير العزيز العليم. والقمر قدرناه منازل حتى عاد كالعرجون القديم. لا الشمس ينبغي لها أن تدرك القمر، ولا الليل سابق النهار، وكل في فلك يسبحون.
صدق الله العظيم. الآن يستعرض على حضراتكم الأستاذ خالد الداود، المشرف على مختبر الوقت والتردد بالمركز الوطني للقياس والمعايرة، جهود الهيئة في اعتماد توقيت المملكة العربية السعودية ضمن شبكة المواقيت العالمية، فليتفضل.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. نبدأ الورقة الأولى بجهود الهيئة في اعتماد توقيت المملكة العربية السعودية ضمن شبكة المواقيت العالمية. طبعا المعني فيها مختبر الوقت والتردد التابع للمركز الوطني للقياس والمعايرة. بداية بعد صدور قرار مجلس الوزراء رقم 320 بتاريخ 13/9/1431 بضمان الهيئة لاتفاقية المتر، توجب عليها العناية والصيانة لجميع وحدات القياس الأساسية اللي هي 7 وحدات المذكورة هنا، ومن ضمنها وحدة الوقت اللي هي السكند الثانية الإس. طبعا التعريف الدولي لوحدة الثانية هو الزمن المناظر لعمل 9,492,613,770 دورة إشعاع صادرة عن انتقال الإلكترون بين مستويين محددين من الحالة المرجعية لذرة السيزيوم. ذرة السيزيوم هذه الساعة الذرية طبعا هي تحتوي على ذرة سيزيوم عالية الدقة جدا. يتم تحقيق وحدة الزمن بنظام متكامل عن طريق ساعة ذرية يتم مزامنتها مع إشارة مستقبلة من الأقمار الصناعية، وإرسال البيانات بشكل دوري للمكتب الدولي للأوزان والمقاييس الجهة المرجعية في وحدات القياس. في صدر مرسوم ملكي بعد التوقيع على اتفاقية المتر بأن الهيئة أصبحت ممثلة بالمركز الوطني للقياس والمعايرة، الجهة المناط بها الإشراف على نظام التردد والوقت في المملكة وربطه بالتوقيت الدولي، وذلك لتقديم الخدمات لجميع القطاعات الحيوية في المملكة العربية السعودية. وخصص له ميزانية مستمرة من 4 سنوات إلى الآن لتطوير جميع الأنظمة بالتزامن مع المختبرات العالمية. تم توقيع إنشاء المختبر في عام 2012 مع المحافظ مع الجانب التركي. بعد ذلك تم تكوين فريق عمل من المركز الوطني مختبر الوقت والتردد والجانب التركي. نستعرض الآن أنشطة المختبر، هي 3 أنشطة: حفظ الوقت وبث إشارة الوقت وأنظمة معايرات الوقت والتردد. في البداية أنظمة الأقمار الصناعية اللي هي تحتوي على إسنادية في الوقت. يوجد حاليا 6 أنظمة أقمار صناعية: نظام الجي بي اس اللي هو النظام الأمريكي، ونظام الجرونس اللي هو النظام الروسي، ونظام الجاليليو اللي هو النظام الأوروبي. الأنظمة الثلاثة هذه جلوبال عالمية، يعني حول الأرض كاملة. وأنظمة 3 ثانية اللي هو النظام الصيني اللي هو بيدوس اللي هو على الآسيان باسيفيك، فقط دول الآسيان باسيفيك. والنظام الهندي إيرنس فقط على القارة الهندية. والنظام الياباني اللي هو الأخير فقط على اليابان. طبعا الأنظمة المعتمدة اللي هي 3 الأنظمة الأولانية: الجي بي اس والجرونس والجاليليو. حاليا النظام الثابت واللي تؤخذ قراءاته ويعتمد عليه هو نظام الجي بي اس. الأنظمة الثانية أنظمة احتياطية حاليا تؤخذ بياناتها ولكنها غير معتمدة في النظام. نظام الجي بي اس طبعا يوجد حول الكرة الأرضية ما يزيد عن 32 قمر صناعي تدور بشكل دوري على حول الأرض في عدة مجالات. ترسل إشارة ويتم استقبالها من جميع المعاهد، من ضمنها معهد الساسو، المعهد التركي، الام بي ال في بريطانيا، بي تي بي في ألمانيا، النست في أمريكا، ومعاهد أغلب المعاهد المشتركة في اتفاقية المتر. البيانات اللي ترسل يتم مزامنتها ومقارنتها بجميع الساعات الموجودة في هذه المختبرات. يعني موجود في المختبرات ما يفوق 450 ساعة ذرية، ساعات الهيدروجين ميزر هي أعلى دقة تقريبا فوق 15 إلى 20 ساعة موجودة. البيانات ترسل بشكل يومي للمكتب الدولي للأوزان والمقاييس. الIRS اللي هو الهيئة الدولية لدوران الأرض لها قياسات معينة وتدرس حالة الأرض بدورانها حول نفسها وحول الشمس. كذلك ترسل بيانات للبي آي بي. يتم جمع البيانات من هيئة دوران الأرض والمعاهد العالمية في عملية لوغاريتمية، وترسل البيانات بعد كذا للجهة المتحكمة في الستلايت القوات البحرية الأمريكية. بعد كذا القوات الأمريكية يتم عملية تعديل، لأن جميع الستلايت فيها ساعة سيزيوم وساعة روبيديوم، فيتم تعديل الإشارة بشكل دوري. الشكل هذا ينظم بناء التايم كيبنج أو نظام حفظ الوقت في المختبر. يحتوي على جهازي استقبال. طبعا احنا عندنا جهاز واحد هو المعتمد، الجهاز الثاني باك اب، لو قدر الله صار مشكلة في الجهاز الثاني جميع البيانات متوفرة عندنا في الجهاز الأول. يوجد عندنا ساعة ماستر رئيسية واحدة، طبعا وهي 5 ساعات، لكن دائما يعتمد في أي جهاز ساعة واحدة. يتم عملية المزامنة بشكل دوري من جميع الجهازين، وترسل بيانات للساعة هذه. الشكل هذا يبين مقارنة الساعة الرئيسية في المختبر مع الإشارة الواردة من القمصين. هذه في عملية بداية إنشاء المختبر، نتكلم عن بداية إنشاء المختبر. ويلاحظ أن الدقة يعني 1 في 0.5 نانو سكند في اليوم الواحد. يعني إذا بعد عمر طويل الحياة ممكن الدرفت يفوق 3 مليون سنة عشان نسوي درفت ثانية واحدة. 4 ساعات الثانية يتم عملية مقارنتها مع الساعة الرئيسية بشكل يومي، وجميع البيانات أيضا ترسل للمكتب الدولي والمقاييس. لو في أي مشكلة حصلت في الساعة الرئيسية موجودة البيانات لجميع الساعات، يؤخذ الأفضل منها درفت واستقرارية يعمل إحلال للساعة الرئيسية. بعد الفترة هذه، بعد حدود 2 شهرين من الداتا المجمعة، تم إرسالها لمكتب الدولي والمقاييس وهو معني بوحدات القياس الرئيسية. وصلنا الخطاب أنه تم اعتماد توقيت المملكة وانتسابها وإسناديتها، إسنادية الوقت لمكتب الدولي والمقاييس. هذه أول نشرة وصلتنا بعد الانضمام، اللي هو في ديسمبر عام 2013. يلاحظ أن حتى الانسرتينتي أو الارتياب كان 20 نانو سكند. مع مرور الزمن طبعا كان في تحسن كبير جدا، وصل الارتياب إلى 7 نانو سكند. وبإذن الله في القريب العاجل، يعني نهاية السنة هذا وبداية السنة القادمة، راح ندخل في عملية معايرة الجي بي اس. هذه راح تقلل الارتياب إلى 5 نانو سكند. طبعا هذه تعادل يمكن ثاني مستوى على المستوى الدولي. من ضمن أنشطة المختبر هو تقريبا محور ورشة العمل، اللي هو نظام نشر الوقت الوطني. طبعا نظام النشر الوطني عندنا يتم إطعامه من الساعة الرئيسية في المركز للنظام الNTV داخل المختبر. من ضمن ورقات العمل راح تقدم إن شاء الله هو الورقة من الورقات الرئيسية، وتطبيق التوقيع الإلكتروني للوقت. جميع الجهات في جهات كثيرة تحتاج إلى توثيق الدوكومنتس بوقت وتاريخ رسمي ومعتمد. من ضمن نشاط المختبر أيضا نظام المعايرات. نظام المعايرات طبعا نظام متكامل جدا، ويتم تطويره بشكل مستمر بتوفير أعلى أجهزة دقة. من ضمن المعايرات اللي احنا يمكن بعض القطاعات الموجودة حاليا، القطاعات العسكرية، توفر عندها ساعات ذرية وساعات ربية جم، لكنها تعمل بشكل غير مسند أو يعني فقط تعمل، لكن لا تتم معايرتها ولا تحقق من الانحراف المعياري حقها أو الدقة حقتها. كانت مراحل النظام على 3 مراحل إنشاء المختبر. في البداية كان بعد توقيع الاتفاقية كان في المعهد التركي مجموعة من الإخوان في المختبر تلقوا تدريب وتشغيل أجهزة في المعهد التركي. تم نقل الأجهزة بعدها بشكل كما ترون في الصورتين هذه للمركز في مارس عام 2013. والشباب شاركوا في عملية تركيب آنات الاستقبال، الأقمار الصناعية كما ترون أريرين، وكل جهاز أرير واحد ثابت. برضو الشباب شاركوا في عملية تجهيز المختبر بالكيابل بشكل التوصيل الأجهزة. حاليا هذا يمثل نظام التايم كيبنج، اللي هو يحتوي 5 ساعات سيزيوم وجهازي استقبال واحد هنا. هذا الجهاز الاستقبال الرئيسي الموجود في المركز، وهذه الساعة الرئيسية، وهذه ال4 ساعات اللي يتم مقارنتها بشكل دوري مع الساعة الرئيسية. النظام هذا نظام الNTB، هذا المدعوم من قبل الساعة الذرية بإشارة الثانية. النظام هذا هو نظام المعايرات بشكل متكامل، يحتوي على جزئين: نظام معايرات الفريكونسيز والكاونترز والتايم، ونظام معايرة الفيز نويز ميجرمنت. النظام هذا أغلب الأجهزة السيجنال جنريتور والسبيكترم أنالايزر فيها جزئية لمعايرة الفيز نويز. يمكن أغلب الجهات ما تؤدي هذه المعايرة. شكرا لصاتكم.
مترولوجيا الوقت والتردد في التطبيقات الفضائية هي عنوان ورقة العمل القادمة التي يقدمها الدكتور رامز حامد، فليتفضل.
السلام عليكم. Next. Assalamu alaikum. I am from National Meteorology Institute of Turkey, Ramiz Hamid. My presentation will include following: history of time generation, importance of atomic clock in science and technology, national and international time scale, time and frequency dissemination, this is very important, and one of the important application, time and frequency and navigation. And last one, European Meteorology Institute and European Space Agency collaboration. And finally, using of time and frequency in different areas of science and technology. Finally, what we have in Europe in a plan related time and frequency next 10 years. Finally, if we look last 1,000 years, all time people used different clocks, starting from dust clock. Today is reached atomic clocks. For example, after 1,800, ship technology and movement between Europe, America, etc., they was important using different type of clocks. But after development of interest to development of plane and determination of his coordinate and navigation, atomic clocks, it was very important. Here I put it year's rotation here because if during rotation of years we used this previously for generation of time, but uncertainty of this clocks, I mean years period rotation stability in per year approximately 1 second. I mean not stable. Today will be some period, but after tomorrow will be approximately 3 milliseconds back or forward. So why I am put it here approximately 1 second. For example, if atomic clocks will be lived more than 1 million years, these clocks will be moved only 1 second. This is why important of this type clock. For example, our watch simple clocks may be moved during 1 year about 1 millisecond. Computer clocks also about 1 millisecond or 1 microsecond, depending what we want, what type of application we need. For example, in army application, we need atomic clocks. What's the difference of atomic clocks from normal hour watch clocks? Our normal hour watch clocks working inside, we have quartz oscillators, and then he generate 5 or 10 megahertz, we decrease up to 1 hertz. 1 hertz means every second 1 pulse. Like this, our second started work. But when I will go to outside, temperature is different. Our cars will be heated, and in this case, time will be changed. If we will stabilize this quartz frequency on atomic transitions, so stability of clocks will be increased, and only 1 second will be drift after 1 million years. It means we develop it here, atomic clocks. Normal atomic clocks looks like this. Khalid showed similar thing. But is this enough for army application and high space application? In principle, not. Why? This is atomic clocks which I showed here. For example, Sasa clocks also somewhere here. But new science technology need improvement of these clocks more than 1,000 times. There are standard microwave clocks, and also there are optical clocks based of laser system. Today is approximately stability 10 to minus 17. What means 17? In 1 second drift only during 1 billion years. This is very important during army application, because this type clocks, if we will put inside of satellites, in this case all coordinate of rockets or missile line, we can determine it less than 1 meters. Sometimes it's going up to 1 centimeter. In that reason, this is very important. But there are also primary clocks, for example, United States clocks, Italian clocks. There are, looks very bigger, because by this way they developed high-level clocks. So why we need better clocks? If we use signal generators, standard signal generator in laboratory, his stability 10 to minus 18, 9 level. This is also period stability of rotation of years. But atomic clocks, it's going more than 1,000 times better. In science, we need this one for improvement of fundamental constant. For example, improvement of second, improvement of meters, improvement of voltage standards. We need better time and frequency standards. Also in astrophysics, gravitation wave detection, geodynamics, it's very important. In metrology, for time synchronization, for example, all of time application, we need better clock. Time transfer. Also, length measurement. For army application, it's very important navigation, satellite navigation. In also high-speed communication, they need better clocks. Also, in time stamp and electronic signatures, we need better time. So, if we will look in which sector time and frequency important. In telecommunication, everybody call different. We counted our time. So we need reference time. In energy, our count also working. How much electricity we used in per second. In army, for in defense for navigations, coordinate of our ships or our plane define it from signal from GPS. But inside of each GPS we have 4 atomic clocks. They determine our coordinate. Also in science and technology, in time stamp, electronic, and space. Khalid discussed about this one, how we used space satellites, because in each satellite we used atomic clocks, and from signal from atomic clocks in satellite, we used our time scale. But very important, this is same picture, but we use here GNSS receiver. For what we need to development better atomic clocks, we need better cable delay measurements here. So we have a lot of measurements here. In time and frequency, in Europe, for example, we used approximately 270 cesium atomic clocks in the world also, and 50 hydrogen maser. For example, 5 of them now in SASO. Totally approximately 300, 400 clocks used for generation of time. So, what we have for next year plan? Development of accurate ground clocks in laboratory. Approximately more 10 to minus 17, 18 level, which means 1,000 times better than commercial clocks, which is we use laboratory. In space application of atomic clocks, we need in the satellite new clocks with 10 to minus 16, 17 level. Now inside of GPS, clock uncertainty 100 times lower than this one. And last one, time and frequency dissemination and comparison. What I mean, we have ground clocks, we have satellite clocks, we must compare with each other. And of course, in normal case, for electronical signatures timestamp, we need improvement from 7 nanosecond up to 2 nanosecond. But why we need this one? For new second, for gravity wave detection, fundamental constant, gas detection, space, navigation, communication. This is impact. So we'll develop it our system, but where we will use this system? What type of method of time dissemination? First one, through internet. Today my colleagues will talk. Second one, through the low frequency and high frequency radio antennas. And then through satellites, and then through fibers. What's the uncertainty? Depending what we want. For example, for finance sectors, all bank computer will be synchronized to SASO time. In this case, we need 5 milliseconds. Okay, what we need, 5 milliseconds or 50 milliseconds, internet for us enough. But for army sectors, they need better synchronization. For example, if they need 1 microsecond synchronization, we will use special low frequency radio broadcast antenna. If they need better uncertainty, for example, 10 nanosecond. What I mean, for example, they have cesium atomic clocks in army sector. They don't like attach these clocks. They don't like take out, bring to SASO, calibrate here, and going back. In this case, we can say to him, okay, we can calibrate through satellite. Put your clocks on site, not moved. That in Jeddah, you have atomic clocks. SASO can calibrate your atomic clocks on site using satellites and internet information. In this case, with an uncertainty 10 nanoseconds. For example, one example only, in finance sector, there are in America regulation, they need to use 5 millisecond uncertainty from American Metrology Institute. In Europe, approximately less than 1 microsecond, there are a lot of lab. For example, in army sectors, there are different types. For example, from time and frequency laboratory, signal going to time and frequency, antenna, and then they used for this synchronization. For example, in the world, we have a lot of, this is red point, a lot of this of type antenna, and ships, which is traveled here, use signal from this antenna. This means long-range navigation version. And by signal from this radio antenna, for example, which is located in different, determined his coordinate. But this is time signal. For example, in future, possible to put in Jeddah a similar antenna. It looks like this. We can send information and ship from here. They can use this time and frequency signal, which is traceable to SASO, and also possible use this antenna for Islamic time frequency dissemination, this type information. And the next one about satellites. For example, if army need better time, better uncertainty, we can put some antenna here, for example, also in Riyadh, and through satellite, it's possible to disseminate this time and frequency information, and army in different point, they can use this time signal. Another method, for example, clock in Mecca towers. If they don't want to take his clock, bring to SASO here, they can receive time signal from GPS, and SASO will receive time signal from GPS, and GPS minus Mecca time center, GPS minus SASO. By this way, it's possible to calibrate Mecca time center clock. So, in army sectors or in your telecommunication sector, you have clocks, not necessarily bring to SASO. Through this way method, it's possible to calibrate on-site. SASO now have this possibility. For example, in ship, they have some rubidium clocks, also possible to calibrate through the satellites. If you need better uncertainty, I'm very sorry. If you need better uncertainty, less than 1 nanosecond, in this case, possible from SASO to send to signal through satellite, and this army clock will receive, and they can send a signal, SASO will receive. By this way, they can compare clock A and B on site with an uncertainty less than 1 nanosecond. This is another possibility. Finally, you know a lot of GPS American satellites, for example, European satellites, Russian satellite, and Chinese satellite. In each satellite, they have, Khalid talk about, they have different cesium clocks, rubidium clocks, and by using these clocks, we used for navigation of, for example, plane, navigation of ship. This is very important, time and frequency, because using time frame laboratory information, we synchronized atomic clocks inside of each satellite. So we have, in generally, in that area, in Japan, in China's area, they have his own satellite system, and this area, Europe, developed his European satellite system. In upper, Russia developed GLONASS satellite system. So actually, our area, in principle, now free. We can start one of interesting project, local satellite area. We can use this information for time and frequency research activity, and also additional to GPS, additional to GLONASS, we can use this satellite system for local navigation also. This will be interesting project. Now our institute working about this project, but we can think and do together joint work. Because this is important for as defense application and also for civil sector. Using, for example, this car received signal from this satellite, and also this satellite from 4 satellites, and they can determine his coordinate. We already use this one. Another application in army sector, for example, one of example in Turkey, if F-16 travel through the territory, they do communication with local antenna in very sharp area, and by this way they start communication. But when this plane travel to another point, clock inside will be drift. If drift, they cannot communicate with local antenna, local area. So they must synchronize his clock inside from another antenna. So what we can do, probably in your country you have also, in Turkey we have also, but sometimes we need improvement. We can put different station here and different antenna. All of stations, station this one, will be through network to come someone dissemination system. In the screen we can find, for example, synchronization, time synchronization, all of this station. All of these time stations will be synchronized with an uncertain, for example, 50 milliseconds. In this in this screen, we can find information. Okay, this signal generator or this antenna give synchronized signal. If station is failed, there will be some red line, for example. By this way, army sector in all Saudi Arabia can synchronize all transmitters which is used in air defense sector. This is one of example for application of time and frequency. Another, of course, time and frequency application in radar, which is used in different area, in normal civil sectors or army sectors. So from by radar, we send it to plane different signal, pulse, and then we detect it back, and then we calculate what's the distance. So in oscilloscope, you can see these pulses. So for measurement this time difference very accurately, it means we measure it distance between station and antenna. This is another application of time and frequency. In Europe, Euromet means European Meteorology and European Space Agency collaboration. In Europe, we have another type antenna, which is this is like sizes like football area, very big satellites, and inside of they put it, atomic clocks. And by using this system, Europe doing research activity related fundamental meteorology, related core navigation, etc. And they have different type of work package. For example, space segment, launch service, and a lot. It is France Meteorology Institute, German, Italy, England. They support this space projects. And what inside, they have a cesium phantom clock, hydrogen maser inside. They test for fundamental physics and plan it to launch in 2016. And orbit height will be 400 kilometers. GPS located at 20,000 kilometers approximately. So this is very interesting project in Europe and very important collaboration. So in Saudi Arabia, you have space departments. So we can do also joint activity related this time and frequency and space application. I mean, space satellites, navigation satellites without time and frequency, they cannot work because they must take a reference from time laboratories here. For example, in Europe, this coordinate of international space flight, this is passed through this way. And also additional information in different area, they have a radio transmitter, which is take from time laboratory by fiber signal and come by fiber coming to radio space radio antennas, and then going for synchronization all of Air Force, planes. So this is very important, one of the important application of time and frequency in Europe. So inshallah, in future here will be start this type application also. For example, recently, our institute, UME, also attended this very interesting project, development of optical clock with 10 to minus 18 uncertainty. What means it is approximately 10,000 times it is better than normal commercial clocks. But why this is, we start this project in Europe? Because for redefinition of SI units. For example, if we need better current measurement, if we need better meters measurement, we need better time and frequency measurement. Plus, for fundamental test, on the satellite we put it antenna. From time and frequency laboratories, we send signal, and then by this antenna we working about fundamental physics. Another interesting facility, geodesy environment facility. This is very important. And last one, this is for army sector application, long-term impact. This is the synchronization all of and dissemination through this antenna, very low frequency signals. For example, this is different time and frequency laboratory now in Europe. For example, in England, in Finland, Germany, Italy, France. They have atomic clocks like these high levels. They compare each other through the satellites and also compare each other through the fiber. So because we need development accurate ground and space atomic clocks, And we need time and frequency dissemination and comparison in 10 to minus 18 and 16 level in Europe. So Turkey attend to both of these projects now in Europe. Finally, I want to conclude my presentation. I want to compare our strategy in Europe and in Turkey. In the world, we have around the years American satellites, Russian satellites, European, Chinese, and from time and frequency laboratory, which have better atomic clock project, they use this laboratory for synchronization all clocks in the satellites. Plus, after this synchronization using, they compare each other through the fiber. Fiber is very important because if satellite will be shut down, through fiber you can compare your clocks. And in Turkey, what I discussed with you today, we want also to develop in this area. I mean, Turkey, Saudi Arabia, in our neighboring friends country, to development our home satellite systems, and then also bring this fiber to Istanbul. And by this, maybe from here to Riyadh in future, inshallah. And then we can do develop in this area local satellite system for navigation also. This is interesting, one of application. Finally, I want to conclude. We talked about some time history up to our strategy. So clock is not staying in the same place. The whole time is moved. Thank you very much for your attention.
شكرا لكم جميعا على حضوركم، وندعوكم للاستراحة لمدة 15 دقيقة، بعدها نستكمل أوراق العمل، وسيكون كلمة معالي محافظ الهيئة بعد الاستراحة إن شاء الله.
عندي انا هذا السياره اذا ممكن كوبنتون بس اهم شيء حجمه كبير الله يسلمك برزنتيشن شنو
Always scan this section.
عاد حاول صح أو هنا كل شيء قاعد يطيح. بسم الله. حضورنا الكرام، نرحب بكم مرة أخرى في ورشة عمل التوقيت الوطني للمملكة، أهدافه ومتطلباته. الآن كلمة معالي محافظ الهيئة السعودية للمواصفات والمقاييس والجودة الدكتور سعد بن عثمان القصبي، فليتفضل معاليه.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم، والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين، ضيوفنا الكرام، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أرحب بكم في رحاب الهيئة السعودية للمواصفات والمقاييس والجودة في هذا اليوم الذي نستعرض من خلاله أبعاد قضية محورية من قضايا التقييس، وفي ورشة عمل التوقيت الوطني للمملكة أهدافه ومتطلباته. لا شك أن أهمية هذا الموضوع نابعة من الأهمية البالغة للوقت الذي نصت عليه أكثر من آية في كتاب الله، وقد نصت تلك الآيات على أهمية قياس الوقت ودقته. يقول الله سبحانه وتعالى: والشمس والقمر بحسبان، والذي جعل الشمس ضياء والقمر نورا وقدره منازل لتعلموا عدد السنين والحساب. وأيضا ينبع ذلك من حرص الإنسان بشكل عام على ضبط حياته وأنشطته وفق توقيت محدد ودقيق يضبط كفاءة أدائه. إن تحديد الوقت بدقة مسألة حاسمة لمجموعة من الأنشطة الاقتصادية والعسكرية والمجتمعية على المستوى العالمي والوطني، فنظم الاتصالات وشبكات الكهرباء والشبكات المالية وحركات النقل والطيران تعتمد جميعها على التحديد الدقيق للوقت لتحقيق التزامن والكفاءة في التشغيل. الحفل الكريم، لقد بذلت الهيئة السعودية للمواصفات والمقاييس والجودة جهوداً حثيثة لبناء منظومة وطنية محكمة ودقيقة للوقت، وقد أسهمت تلك الجهود بفضل من الله في انضمام ساعة مكة المكرمة لشبكة التوقيت العالمي UTC، وحصلت على الاعتراف الدولي بالتوقيت السعودي، لتكون بذلك المملكة العربية السعودية إحدى مكونات منظومة المواقيت العالمية. هذا النجاح يأتي بفضل من الله أولاً، ثم بفضل دعم القيادة حفظها الله لمشروع تأسيس المختبر الوطني للتردد والوقت، وامتلاك الهيئة لأجهزة قياس عالية الدقة، والذي نتج عن برامج الشراكة الفنية مع كبريات الهيئات والمعاهد العالمية المتخصصة مثل المعهد الوطني للمترولوجيا في تركيا، والمشاركة في التوقيت العالمي المعدل مع جميع المعاهد والمراكز المترولوجية حول العالم. وبكل تأكيد فإن الاعتراف الدولي سيتيح للمملكة الاستفادة من توحيد الوقت في جميع نشاطات العمل الحيوية الأمنية والاقتصادية، والتي تتطلب دقة للوقت، مثل أنظمة البنوك والسوق المالية والمطارات والحجز المركزي وغيرها من التطبيقات التي ذكرناها آنفاً. ختاماً، أجد هذه الفرصة مواتية للتوجه بالشكر العميق للإخوة في معهد المترولوجيا الوطني بالجمهورية التركية على تعاونهم الجاد والكبير في هذا المجال، والشكر أيضاً موصول لشركائنا في وزارة الدفاع وفي هيئة الاتصال وتقنية المعلومات ومركز المعلومات بوزارة الداخلية والمركز الوطني للأمن الإلكتروني على اهتمامهم بهذا الموضوع الهام. والشكر موصول أيضاً لجميع من حرص على المشاركة والحضور، والله أسأل أن يكون هذا التجمع مثمراً وذا نتائج إيجابية تحقق رؤية الهيئة الاستراتيجية لتعزيز الاقتصاد الوطني ودعم عملية التنمية المستدامة التي تعيشها مملكتنا المعطاء، متمنياً للجميع التوفيق والنجاح، والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
الآن نستعرض لحضراتكم ورقة عمل بعنوان التوقيع الإلكتروني وتوقيع الوقت في تطبيقات البنية الأساسية، يقدمها المهندس رمضان جرجن، فليتفضل.
Thank you. Sorry, please don't change this. Did you change presentation mode?
This one?
No, this one. Okay, okay, thank you. Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Ramazan Girgin. I'm a senior researcher at the TÜBİTAK in Turkey for 9 years. Today, I am going to talk about public key infrastructure and its uses as digital signatures and timestamping. Here, our agenda. First of all, I want to briefly explain you what the public key infrastructure is. Later on, we will talk about what is electronic signature and timestamping as public key infrastructure applications. Currently, a lot of electronic signature types and standards exist. I will give some detail regarding these types and standards. Finally, I will talk about public key infrastructure, server, and client solutions that we are developed and are currently being used in Turkey. In daily life, we want to achieve different goals in information security. The first and maybe the most important goal is achieving confidentiality. Daily, we are sending tens of emails, SMS, and making phone calls. And we want to ensure that nobody other than our counterpart is reading these emails, SMS, or listening our phone calls. To achieve this goal, we can use encryption. Another important goal that we want to achieve is integrity. I do not want to my counterpart read a modified or changed version of email, SMS, or banking order. So how can we do it? We can achieve this goal by signing our emails or electronic data. Phishing is a major problem in electronic world. Daily, we are receiving tens of spam mails and we don't know the real sender. Identification is a major goal, again, in information security. Again, by using digital signature, we can achieve it. Finally, if I received a message or an order, I want to ensure that the sender cannot deny it. This is the non-repetition concept. Here the electronic signature comes to our help. For encryption and electronic signature, there is a solution called public key cryptography. Shortly, what's the public key cryptography? Public key cryptography depends on some difficult to solve mathematical problems. For example, very famous public key algorithm is RSA, depends on factorization problem. Let's think you have two small prime numbers, 3 and 5. And when we multiply them, we get 15. And if somebody asks you to factorize 15, you can easily say that its factors are 3 and 5. But imagine a very huge two prime numbers and somebody asks you to factorize the multiplication of two numbers. It's very difficult to factorize it. RSA depends on the factorization of this problem. Also, elliptic curve depends on the difficult to solve discrete logarithm problem. Public key and private key are actually two huge numbers. What is the relationship between public key and private key? Shortly, if we sign electronic data with private key, the signed data only can be verified with its corresponding public key. Again, if a data encrypted by using public key with RSA encryption, RSA algorithm, then the data can be decrypted only by using corresponding private key. And finally, the most important thing is that we are keep in our mind is that we should not share our private key with anyone, and it must be totally in our control. But we can share the public key with others. Let's look how the public key cryptography is used for encryption. We have plain text that we want to encrypt and send over the public channel. Plain text can be an email, SMS, or voice data, whatever. As an input to the encryption algorithm, we put the plain text and recipient's public key in encryption algorithm. Outcome from the encryption algorithm in our case is RSA maybe, is encrypted text or ciphertext. And we send ciphertext through the public channel, maybe or internet or whatever. The recipient of ciphertext uses his private key to decrypt ciphertext and guess the plain text. In this schema, public key and private key mathematically related but not the same keys. Look at shortly how the signing of electronic data and its verifying process is done by public key cryptography. We have a plain text. It may be any kind of electronic data, an email, a document, a transaction, whatever. It's generally the whole message is not signed, but the hash value of the message is signed. What's hash? Hash is the input of the message. Again, it's calculated through some mathematical calculations. When signing, signer uses his private key and the hashing key. And the hash value of the message and put them both to the signature algorithm, like RSA. Again, signature algorithm might be RSA or elliptic curve. And the signature comes out of this algorithm. Then the message and signature are transferred to recipient. When the recipient takes message and the signature, first it calculates hash value of the message and put this hash value and sends public key to verification algorithm. Again, verification algorithm may be RSA or elliptic curve. And then checks the result of the verification algorithm. There is a big question comes to our mind. Who owns the public key and private key, since these keys are huge numbers, as I told before? We have to bind public key to some identity. Here comes the electronic certificates. Electronic certificates has subject who owns the private key. Also, electronic certificates has field subject public key, which contains algorithm type and the public key value. Public key certificates, electronic certificates also contains validity period of certificates, in which period these keys are valid. Electronic certificates also contains issuer field. An issuer field who verifies that this public key is owned by the person, device, or individual. The authority who checks the public key owner's identifier and generates the signs this electronic certificate is called certification authority. If I want to send an encrypted message to some other person, I need the public key of the recipient. How can I find it? Certificates, especially the ones used for encryption, are published in these repositories like lightweight directories. If I lose my private key or some information changed in the certificate, then these certificates must be revoked. So the certification authority issues the validity information regarding about the certificates. This may be a certificate revocation list known as CRL or online certificate status service. I will give details of OCSP, known as OCSP Online Certificate Status Protocol, later. In electronic certificate, time is very critical, and the reliable and secure time is provided by timestamping authority. This infrastructure that we described is totally called public key infrastructure. Timestamp used for proof of completion of time-critical transactions such as stock trading, banking, travel, and auctions. Timestamping also used for integrity protection of electronic documents that need copyright, maybe new idea, photograph, model, drawing, and resource. Timestamp also used for archiving of data for further checking. Timestamping in PKI is especially in digital signature have a very important role. Think a scenario that your private key and certificate has stolen, and somebody want to make a fraud signature by using your private key. But you already asked to your certification authority to revoke your certificate. Actually, time can be included in a certificate, in a signature provided from the operating system. But this time is not trustworthy. User can change operating system time easily. So a trusted time associated with the signed data must be included into the electronic signature. In daily life, when you sign a document with a handwritten signature, you put the date on the document. When you digitally sign a document, a trusted timestamp is added to the digital signature. Here, timestamp provided from a timestamp authority comes to the game. For a long-term validation and conservation of digital signature, new timestamps must be added to the digital signature periodically. Electronic signature standards. Electronic signature standards are developed by European Communication Standards Institute, known as ETSI. There are currently 3 different signature standards. First one is XML Advanced Signature Standards, known as XADES. In XADES, digital signatures are represented in XML format. The second one is CMS Advanced Signature, known as CADES. Signature is in CADES represented in binary format, called ACN1. The last and third one is PDF Advanced Signature. You know, PDF is an ISO standard. The signature is put into PDF document directly in PADES format. As I mentioned before, in these 3 signature standards, there are different signature types. The first type is basic electronic signature. It contains only signature. It also contains time, but user time. It doesn't contain reliable time inside. It doesn't contain any time taken from timestamp authority. The next one is signature with timestamp. It contains a trusted timestamp provided by timestamping authority. The next one is signature with long-term validation data. When validating signature, we must know if the certificate is valid at the signing time, and the certificate is issued by a trusted certification authority. So revocation information like CRL and certification authority information, maybe its certificate, must be included in the signature for a further checking. This signature type is called as X-long signature type. The final one is archive signature. As time passed, the cryptographic algorithms used in digital signatures can weaken. In order to protect the electronic signature's long-term validation, it must be wrapped with the trusted timestamp. This timestamp must have a stronger cryptographic algorithms. In TÜBİTAK, in Turkey, our department have been working on PKI technologies since 2001. We are member of NATO PKI Adversary Group and Electronic Signature Group. We have developed all our PKI products nationally. These products are being used in more than 50 companies. The major ones are Turkish Armed Force, Government Certification Authority, Minister of Interior, and National ID Card Project. Our server-side solutions are SS Certification Authority. SMS means National PKI Product Family. The next one is timestamping server. And the next one is online certificate status protocol server. All our products are certified with common criteria EAL4+ security certification. There are only 3 or 4 products in the world which have this certification. Shortly, OCSP server gives the real-time status of certificate. In Turkey, we have developed also PKI client tools. One of them is called Kermen, which means castle in Turkish. It has a secure email and secure desktop applications. For a secure email, we have developed a plugin for Microsoft Outlook and Mozilla Thunderbird email clients. With this plugin, you can send encrypted and signed emails. For desktop, Kermen has secure folders in which files can be encrypted and signed automatically for different persons. Kermen also has a file and folder encryption capabilities. We have a free timestamp client software and published on the internet and can be used for getting secure timestamp from timestamp authorities. We have a secure PDF application which can be used for producing encrypted and signed PDF documents. We have another free tool which is widely used in Turkey. As a reference application is Imzager. It's used for generating electronic signature according to all the signature standards and types. It also has a capability of validation signatures. We also have APIs for .NET and Java, which can be used for generating electronic signature in all of the signature standards and types. They are free to use and published in the internet. Thank you for listening to me. I can try to give answer if you have questions.
الإخوة الحضور، الإطار القانوني للتوقيع الإلكتروني تطبيقات في الجمهورية التركية هو موضوع ورقة العمل التالية التي سيقدمها المهندس مراد ياسين، فليتفضل.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Murat Yasin Kubilay. I have been working in TÜBİTAK about 12 years. I am the unit division of the unit manager of the PKI division in TÜBİTAK Turkey. What will we talk about today? What's our agenda? First of all, I will give a different point to electronic signature. What's an electronic signature? We will mention about it. Later on, we will speak about the electronic signature legal framework in Turkey and the certification authorities which have been established in Turkey. But generally, I have put the public and the private certification authorities, not the military certification authorities, but I can mention about them also in the presentation. Finally, we will speak about the e-government applications which are making use of the electronic signature in Turkey. What's an electronic signature? Actually, it's really sometimes becoming difficult. What's an electronic signature? Everybody is behaving to electronic signature differently. For example, we are accustomed to normal handwritten signature. We just sign a paper, and it's the handwritten signature. And sometimes people are just signing a paper and scanning it and making a computer file like JPEG file or PNG file, importing their computer, and they are typing some documents and putting that picture at the end of the document. They say it's an electronic signature, but it's not an electronic signature. Or just they painted their signature on the screen with some paint tool, and they can call it to electronic signature. But we are not talking about this kind of electronic signature. So what's an electronic signature? Electronic signature is a data in electronic form. It's an electronic, it's not a picture, but it's some data in electronic form. And the electronic signature, this electronic signature must be attached to some electronic data. You want to sign some data, you make a signature out of it. There is and this electronic signature is again in some electronic form, but you have to carry this electronic signature with the original signed data. You can combine it, or you can just carry both of the data each other. So it must be attached to some electronic data. And thirdly, the electronic signature serves as a method of authentication. And if the electronic signature is created under some special circumstances, what are those circumstances? If the electronic signature can uniquely link to the signatory, and if they are capable of identifying the signatory, and they are created under the signatory's sole control, and it is linked to the data such that any change is detectable, then we call that this electronic signature is called an advanced electronic signature. In Turkey, the electronic signature law has been accepted in the Turkish Parliament in 2004. Shortly, what's stated in this law that the electronic signature has legal effects the same as the handwritten signature, except that some ceremonial issues. What are they? For example, marriage. You cannot marry with electronic signature, or you cannot sell some goods, not let's say goods, but some land, for example. You cannot sell a land with electronic signature, since there must be some weaknesses in these operations. You cannot use electronic signature in these, but apart from these operations, you can use electronic signature with the same legal effect with the handwritten signature in Turkey according to the law. This law gives the regulation of this electronic signature to an institute called Information and Communication Technologies Authority. This authority is making the regulations and the citations about this law. Since this law is some abstract document, and how this law will be applied, how will be the applications of this law is described in these regulations and citations. And also, this Information and Communication Technologies Authority is generating the authorization and auditing of the certification authorities. So a new certification, if a new certification authority has been established, they are making authorization and the auditing of that certification authority. Also, our friend Ramazan has talked about the certificates, the OCSP, the CRL, and e-signature. There are a lot of complex standards regarding it. Some kinds of profiles of these standards should be used in Turkey. So these profiles are prepared generally by TÜBİTAK, and this regulatory authority is just distributing them. Which standards are used in the legal frameworks in digital signature according to our law in Turkey? The first one is CWA 14170. CWA means the CERN Workshop Agreement. It's a European standard. It's regarding security requirements for signature creation applications. The signature creation, the security of the signature creation application is very important. Why it's very important? Let's think that, for example, you want to make a banking order and you want to send 1,000 reals to one account from your account to another account. If the application is not trustworthy, that you are making use of your electronic signature, and instead of 1,000 reals, if it sends 10,000 reals to the other recipient, so it's a fraud. So the application must be quite secure. And also the tools that you are making use of, your smart cards, your tokens, and whatever, also the environment must be quite secure. And the requirements about these requirements, about them, are mentioned in this standard. The second one is the procedures for electronic signature verification. Again, the signature verification is a very important process. In order to prevent the fraud, you have to verify the signature very carefully. So this standard is describing how this verification will be done. Again, as Ramazan has told before, there are different signature standards. The first one is CMS Advanced Signature, is a binary form. XML Advanced Signature, it is an XML form. And the last one is PDF Advanced Signature, PADES, it is in a PDF form. All these standards are currently being used in Turkey e-signature world. According to, after the dissemination of the acceptance of the law, the Prime Minister of Turkey has made a circulation about the establishment of a government certification authority. In order to prevent multiple investments, the root certificate service provider has been established to issue certificates only to public officials. Its name, the public certification authority's name in Turkey is called KAMU-SM. And it has different certificate authorities. The first one is Qualified Electronic Certificate Service Provider. It's working as a Qualified Electronic Certificate Service Provider. There are different kinds of actually electronic certificates. Only the qualified ones can be used for legal electronic signatures. And they are issuing these certificates to all public, for example, the Prime Minister employees, the Health Minister of employees, or Minister of Finance employees. Also, this certification authority has another sub-certification authority. In this certification authority, they are issuing non-qualified electronic certificates like SSL certificates, for example, like VPN certificates, like logon certificates. These kinds of certificates are issued from this certification authority. In Turkey, according to law, all the public officials has to take their electronic certificates from public certification authority, except from the Turkish Armed Forces, the Gendarmerie, the Coast Guard, General Director of Security, National Intelligence Agency, and Minister of Foreign Affairs, and so on and so forth. They can establish their own certification authority according to the circulation of the Prime Minister. In Turkey, there are 5 private certification authorities. The 5 qualified certification authorities. One is public, this KAMSM, and this one, and this one are the private certification authorities which are issuing qualified electronic certificates to the civilians, to the citizens. Up to now, about 1.8 million qualified electronic certificates has been issued by these certification authorities. About 500,000 mobile electronic certificates has been issued. What's mobile electronic certificate? Let me shortly describe it to you. Generally, you are carrying, you are making your this electronic signature with some smart cards, like your credit cards, you know. You are carrying in some tokens or credit card type smart cards. But in mobile electronic certificates, you can carry your private keys, which you should not share with anyone, in your SIM card in your mobile phone. Since your SIM card is also some kind of smart card, and you can carry your private keys in this SIM card, and you can make the electronic signature, advanced electronic signature with these certificates. There are 1.1 million cash register electronic certificates. I will later on talk about what is a cash register certificate. They are not qualified certificates. By the way, the cash registers are using this kind of certificates. And about 75,000 financial seal electronic certificates. Again, I will talk about financial seal certificates. About 25,000 SSL certificates. And billions of timestamps. Since every signature creation application is now making use of the timestamp. Since, as Ramazan told in the previous presentation, timestamp is very, very important effect in electronic signature. Without a timestamp, actually, we cannot produce a good, qualified, advanced electronic signature. Let me return back here, since some people from the army are also from here. These are actually from the private, the civilians certification authorities. Also in Turkish army, there is other certification authorities. First of all, the General Staff Headquarters has a certification authority, and all the Navy, Air, Land Forces, Gendarmerie, they have a close network, close to the internet. In this network, they are making use of their certification authorities. They are generating their own certificates, and they are using these certificates for signing and for encryption purposes. In the previous slide, again, we talked about the Kerman, for example. It's a PKI client. This PKI client is using the certificates generated out of these certification authorities, and they are making all their documents encrypted and signed according to their internal law, the Army's internal law, with these applications. And now I will talk about where the electronic signature is used in government, in e-government in Turkey. Actually, e-signature is sitting in the heart of the e-government. Since in an e-government, in e-government applications, without identification, authentication, and without legal electronic signature, you cannot give good service. Electronic signature is sitting in the heart of the e-government. It is being used in e-justice, e-citizenship, e-invoice, e-municipality, e-customs, e-ID, e-health, e-consular. It's using actually in almost all e-government applications. I will briefly give detail about which applications they are. Maybe the first and one of the oldest and one of the most important application in e-government in Turkey is National Judiciary Informatics Systems. It's called UYAP. The Minister of Justice is building this e-government application. What's the aim of this application? In this application, the efficiency and the functioning of the judiciary flows should be improved. All the workflows, all the procedures, everything which is being done in the judiciary system in Turkey is being done now in UYAP, in electronical system. There is nothing paper-based. And of course, the less bureaucracy for institutions and for the citizens is another aim for this project. Who are using this application? All courts, all public prosecutor services, all prisons, all law enforcement agencies are making use of UYAP application. What are they gaining? All the files, all the works of the courts, everything is dispatched through this system. Actually, if the UYAP is not working, everything is stopped in Ministry of Justice in Turkey, or let's say in all the courts. For example, there's a court being done now, there's a trial being done in a court, and just you have to send a prisoner. You want to release a prisoner. If the judge cannot use UYAP, for example, if he cannot sign the release data in the system, the prisoner cannot go. So it's so much critical in the system. All bureaucratic procedures, all formal writings in electronic environment are being done with electronic signatures. Of course, the transparency in terms of accountability and data accuracy and speed and efficiency. Let me give you an example. Most of the people maybe from Sasso knows Ume, TÜBİTAK. We are in a province called Gebze. It's actually very close to Istanbul. It's about 30 kilometers. Sometimes from a court in Gebze, a formal writing has to be sent to a court in Istanbul. If you take the paper and walk through Istanbul, I think you can go in several hours. But in the former system, it was taking some days, sometimes some weeks, to send one official document from a court from Gebze to Istanbul. And in UYAP, it is just one click. When it's prepared in UYAP in Gebze, it is at the same time a judge can see it, or a prison or a prosecutor in a prison can see what is the order about it. So the speed and efficiency has been increased dramatically. Also the cost reduction, I don't know how many papers were being printed in Ministry of Justice, and all of them are now finished. They have a huge saving and a huge cost reduction. Also, sometimes there may be fraud on the papers, and this corruption has been prevented. In Turkey, this electronic signature has been used more than 10 years. In these 10 years, there are only 1 or 2 fraud cases in electronic signature. Let me tell you one fraud case in electronic signature. Since sometimes the judge can give his electronic signature token to his clerk, since he's making a lot of job and he's asking his clerk to sign something instead of him. And the clerk was angry with the judge for some reason, I don't know what was the reason, and the clerk prepared a document and resigned the judge. That was the only case that I remember now with a fraud being done in electronic signature. Now, again, Minister of Justice is making some works that they want to share their judicial information with their counterparts in the European Union. For example, they can send a law order from a court in Turkey directly to the European Union and can take the answer them from them online from the system. There's a project being currently done about it. Currently, it is taking a lot of time. Prepare a document, change it, send it to European Union. It's taking months. Another very, very important an e-government project in Turkey is the e-invoice, e-archive, and e-registry projects, which are being carried Ministry of Economy and the Revenue Administration, which are collecting the money. What's this project being done? It is improving the invoicing, storing the daybook ledger, archiving procedures dramatically, and decreasing the fraud. Who has to use this project? All taxpayers with gross sales more than 10 million Turkish liras. Let me shortly describe what's done in this project. All the invoices prepared from sellers to the buyers are sent with UBL 2.0 format, this is the universal billing format, via Revenue Administration online. So, Revenue Administration can see all the invoice flow. Who prepared the invoice, who will pay this invoice, and they can check the money flow. And they can, of course, accordingly, they can take their taxes. And the sending of these invoices from sellers to buyers improved dramatically. And all the invoices has to be sent with electronic signature and with timestamp in XML format, in Exades format. They are expecting a huge increase in the tax with this project. Also, a second project, as I told, it's e-archive and e-registry. According to the law, the companies has to keep their invoices for about 20 years. And some big companies like telecommunication companies are building huge warehouses to store all those invoices. And they are spending huge amounts of money to the notaries. So with this project, they are keeping their all invoices electronically, they are archiving them electronically, and they are sending some part of these data to the revenue administration. So they don't need any warehouse anymore, they don't need to pay anything to the notaries, and they are making huge savings. Again, another very big project, e-government project in Turkey is online cash register project. What's this project doing? What's the aim of this project? The aim of the project is monitoring and storing the sales data in revenue administration, and they want to decrease the fraud. Who will use this project? All taxpayers who have to use the cash register. Cash registers are, these. And actually, what's being done in this project? Currently, they are actually passing this online cash register, but the existing cash registers were very open to the fraud. Actually, the cash register sellers, the old type cash register sellers, were making backdoor applications in their cash register. If they don't make this backdoor if they don't put this backdoor to the cash register, they could not sell the cash register. What were the taxpayers doing? They were changing the data that they have made during they, for example, sold a lot of goods which cost of 100,000 riyals, or let's say Turkish liras. But at the end of the day, or at the end of the month, they were just changing the cash register with the backdoor application, and they were decreasing 100,000 liras to 100 to 1,000 liras. So there was a very big fraud in the cash register, since according to the amount which is stored in the cash register, they were paying tax. For example, if you go to a restaurant near to Bosporus, you can see it's very crowded. A lot of people are going there and they are spending really good money there. And they have a credit card POS machines, and they are also cash registers. At the end of the day, you check the cash register. According to the cash register, they made a selling total of 1,000 Turkish liras. But according to you, if you go to POS, the credit card machine, you see that they made a selling of 100,000 Turkish liras. So they want to just online monitor what's coming out of the POS, post machines from the credit card, and what is being done coming out of from the cash register. And in this cash register, of course, all the transactions are being done with electronic signature and with timestamp. And they cannot put any backdoors anymore in the cash register, since the cash register firmware is signed for integrity against fraud. Another e-government application is inward processing regime. It's again an application from Ministry of Economy. The aim of this project is give priority to exportation, to eliminate bureaucracy, and increase the exportation. Who can use this application? All exporter firms. Shortly, what's this project? For example, you are an exporter, you are making some business, you are, for example, developing some goods or some machines or whatever, but in order to develop that machine, you have to import something from the outer countries. You have to combine them, you have to put some added value on it, and you will export it. In this case, the importer firms, or let's say in this case, the importer firm and the exporter firm are all the same. They do not pay any value-added tax, since they imported some spare parts or some goods from the other countries. All the requests for this inward processing permission are done with electronic signature and timestamp. They can create their export-import list, their prepare expenditure tables, tax duty expenditure, exception document with electronic signature. They can follow their application, make revision, and they can cancel with electronic signature. All the process are done online and with electronic signature, and the process has been increased dramatically. And they want to prevent the fraud with the fake prescriptions. Who will use this project? All the doctors in both public and the private sector. Now, in every hospital, all the doctors have to use a prescription. The budget of the Ministry of Health is huge, and every year it is increasing. So they want to control the usage of this budget in Ministry of Health. And sometimes there are some fraud prescriptions which are prepared. Sometimes the pharmacists are doing it in conjunction with the doctor. Sometimes it's being done with the doctor or whatever. But now all the prescriptions can be prepared under the control of the doctor with electronic signature. So the doctor cannot deny that this prescription is not prepared except from himself. And the prescriptions are standardized, and the correct medication is given to the patient. You know, the doctor's writings are especially very difficult to read. So in this, with the help of this application, all the pharmacists and all the patients can read which medication are given to themselves. And also, of course, these prescriptions are archived for many years, and there will be no need of the physical archival of these prescriptions. They are archived electronically, and the fraud is prevented with electronic signature and timestamp in Ministry of Health. And I will mention shortly regarding some other application. The first one is from the Ministry of Science, Industry and Technology, online application system for warranty and after-sales services qualification certificate with electronic certificates, with electronic signature. You can just apply for these warranties and qualifications online. Another one is from Turkish Patent Institute. You can online apply for the patents, trademarks, or industrial designs with your electronic signature and monitor your application. TürkSat is a big government, is a big company in Turkey, and Turkey Gov.tr is the government portal. This is e-Turkey portal. In this portal, there are hundreds of applications are offered, or applications or services are offered to the citizens. This is a gate. This is a gate to all the e-government applications offered in Turkey. From this portal, you can log on with your electronic signature. You can make your authentication securely. And when you log on to this portal, you can reach all the applications offered from all the governmental offices. This is a project from Ministry of Interior. İçişleri means interior actually in Turkish. And all the processes being done in governors, in cities, in towns, all the processes are being done electronically with electronic signature within this project. And this is Minister of Customs and Trade. They have two applications. They can online, for example, custom declarations with electronic signature and e-auction. I will shortly want to describe about what an e-auction means. What this application is offering actually. The bidders can give their tenders to the for the auction, but they want to be sure that nobody knows what the bid is before the bidding time. So this offer or this tender is signed and encrypted and cannot be opened technically before the bidding time hours. So no bidder can, for example, they want to prevent the total fraud. For example, somebody inside, some people are making the auction, a tender has come, and they don't want the company who is making this auction know what the internal details of the bid or the tender. So they have designed some protocols about this auction, e-auction, and they made it in a secure way. And both the PKI encryption and the signature, and very important, timestamp, very, very important in e-auction, is being used in this project. Again, Public Procurement Authority is making, all the public procurements are being done with this Public Procurement Authority. If you, as a governmental office, if you want to buy something, you are asking this Public Procurement Authority, and this authority is making this procurement for you. And they have a project called a Public Procurement Platform. In this platform, all the procedures are being done electronically with electronic signature. This is a project, an e-official correspondence from the Ministry of Development. It's an award-winning project of this year in Turkey. What's this project doing? You know, in public institutions, there are formal writings. They are making some formal writing from one public institution to the other. Most of them, up to now, they were making these writings in paper-based form with handwritten signature. With this project, the public institutions can send their these formal writings in electronic form with electronic signature, up to and included to the restricted level. Not secret, but unclassified and restricted public writings can be distributed from one public institution to the other with this project. Actually, I did not mention, but there's also another project in Turkey. It is called registered email. What's the difference of registered email from the regular email? The difference is this. For example, when you are sending an email, can you be sure that the recipient has really read what you have sent? You just send the mail, but the recipient can tell that I did not read that email. But, for example, if you want to send a public an official writing to somebody with an email, you want to be sure that the recipient really took that email. The difference between the regular email and the registered email is this. And this is in this registered email, you are making use of your electronic signature with timestamp. And this official in this project, these formal writings are being sent with registered email from one authority to other authority. For example, for Minister of Defense to Minister of Justice, this formal writing is done. And there are hundreds of document management systems with electronic signature, hundreds of e-municipality applications with electronic signature, up to now, and which I cannot mention all of them to you, surely. And these were the major ones that I want to describe you. Thank you for your attention. That's the end of my presentation.
الإخوة الحضور، آخر أوراق العمل لهذه الورشة حول طرق بث الوقت للمهندس آدم جدك، فليتفضل.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Adem Gedik from National Meteorology Institute of Turkey, Time and Frequency Laboratory since 2000. Today I'm trying to give some brief information about time dissemination using computer networks. Okay, in our agenda, I am trying to explain dissemination traceable time information, time dissemination strategies, and at the end of the slides, I will try to give information next generation time and frequency dissemination systems. If you look to time and frequency laboratory of any NMI, they has two objectives. First one is creating traceable national time scale
which is, for example, UTC SASO, UTC UME, or other time scales. And second objective is dissemination of this traceable time information. You see here the time and frequency laboratory structure of SASO. As mentioned before, Mr. Khalid, it has some cesium clocks, 5 cesium clocks, and some systems. After completing all of this construction and sending data to BIPM, you can get traceability from BIPM side. So in NMI laboratories, the reference clock, which has very big stability, very big accuracy, but this accuracy is on the laboratory. So to disseminate this time information, the SASO time and frequency laboratory has NTP server. I will give information about what's the NTP now. And to disseminate traceable time information, we have normally used another method, calibration method. Calibration means, as a customer, you send some equipment which is related to time and frequency, like spectrum analyzer, like signal generator, like this. This equipment calibrated by done in SASO time and frequency laboratory using very accurate, traceable, high accuracy and high stability atomic frequency source. So if you look to who is the time and frequency customers, who needs this information, you can see lots of sectors needs this time of information. Some of the sectors only needs time of day information. Time of day information means that it includes hours, seconds, minutes, and also it includes calendar information. For example, transportation industry needs only time of day information to manage, to balance the also. But for example, in finance sector, which includes banking and stock markets, also needs time of day information to make facility. Another company, for example, communication system, they have also needs time of day information. For example, when we use our cell phone, the base station or company must keep to time duration of our conversation and then bill to this conversation to us. For this type of facility, communication system or communications companies needs time of day information. But they also need frequency information, which means they have lots of base station, all of our area, which includes base stations to our cell phones to communicate base stations for communication. So this type of base station must be exact frequency to transfer any signals. For this type of usage, we need also frequency information. Not only time of day information, also we need some frequency information. Also military application, some application must require time of day information and frequency also. So another question is, okay, we need some time information, time and frequency information. Where can get this time of information? If you look at the time and frequency source, obvious that the time and frequency laboratory of National Meteorology Institute has this. For example, in SASO has traceability from BIPM, atomic frequency standard. So if you need any time of day information or frequency information, they can supply to you. And another source of time and frequency is Global Navigation Satellite System, which name is GNSS. You know, and this type of system can give you time of day information plus frequency information. Also, if you add some extra devices, you can get frequency information from this system. Most famous one is GNSS system, you know, GPS system. But if you look the reference time of GPS reference time is UTC USNO. USNO is some station which is related to GPS also. Another alternative is GLONASS with Russian GNSS system. But if you look the reference time of GLONASS, it's Russian time. And there is another alternative, Galileo, which is European project. And there is another Chinese project, Beidou, it's new developed GNSS system. So if you need time and frequency information, time of day information or frequency information, you can use all of this one also. Another time of day information source is public NTP servers. All of the National Meteorology Institute, some of civil sectors also has public NTP servers. So this is US, American National Meteorology Institute's time server. This is English time servers and German time servers. So if you need time of day information only, you can get time information from these servers also. Another alternative is radio station. There is some big power radio station in the world to send some radio signal. Most famous one is DCF 77 from German. If you have a special type of receiver, you can take, using this type of receiver, you can take time of day information plus frequency information, this type of station. And this type of station also very common in USA also, different frequencies. So if you need time and frequency information, you can use all of this source. But there is some problem here. Before decide any source to use, you must look your legislation. You see here there is a Euromed project results. You see here this is Euromed members of member country, and you see here red one is there is some legislation for using time information, which means if you need time of day information or frequency information in this country, red one, you must directly go to National Meteorology Institute. You can't use for other sources in this country. But other country includes also Turkey. There is no legislation using the national time scale. If you are in this country, you can take time information from other sources. But if you use the national time scale, in that case, it will be good. So, if you look at the time dissemination methods, you see lots of methods. But today I am only talk about time dissemination over computer networks. NTP is very common for time dissemination in computer networks. This is very old protocol and now is standard. So if you look at NTP, normally NTP packet is about 48 bytes long without authentication. And now version 4 is very popular. If you look at the accuracy, according to source, accuracy for 50 milliseconds for internet usage, if you use internet time server. If you use a local area network, in that case, accuracy is less than 5 milliseconds. This is typical value. You know that internet switch and internet systems is very fast now. So according to our experiment, if you are in a local area network, the accuracy is less than 1 millisecond now. You can issue. And every calendar inside in NTP protocol, there is also calendar, and every calendar needs to some starting point So in NTP, use this starting point. It's base era. So NTP is, there must be some NTP server. Any client which needs to NTP information, time of day information, first prepares a NTP packet, sends this packet to server, and after preparing the NTP packet, the client puts internal time to this packet and sends this packet to server. After receiving this packet by server, server puts internal time to this packet, and sometime later, depends on load of the server, because NTP is a service, so any server has another service, depends on load of the server. After sometimes, NTP server puts internal time to same packet and send to client again. When client receive this packet again, puts internal time of client. And using this formula, client can easily calculate time differences between client and server. So if any correction required, according to time differences, if any correction required, client do this corrections automatically. Using this method, your client continues to check the NTP server to ensure that internal time of client is correct or not. So if you look at the NTP packet format, I said 48-bit long without authentication. There is some area. This is timestamp for reference time. Before, after client prepared this packet, puts original time to here and sends to server. Server, when first time receive this packet, puts internal time here, and then calculates the time difference between server and client. The most important point here, the stratum level. What is the stratum level in NTP? In NTP, every source of the NTP has some stratum number. You know that there is an atomic clock here. The stratum number of any atomic clock is 0, and directly connected NTP servers to reference clock, stratum number is 1, and then go this way. So if you take any time information from any NTP server, first you must to ensure quality of this NTP packet, you must check stratum level. If stratum level number is near the 0, this means that your server is high quality. So NTP has so long history, and every major operating system like Windows and Linux and Macintosh operating system is natively supported to this protocol. So if you any operating system like this, you do not need any special client program, any special application to get time information from NTP server. So if you look the atomic frequency standard in the SASO, for example, the output of the atomic frequency standard only 10 megahertz and 1 PPS signal, which means pure analog signal. Analog signal means this type of signal cannot easily understand by NTP or any computers. So if you look the NTP site, which must be disseminated by internet, all of the server use pure digital signal, which means this type of devices cannot easily understand this type of devices. So for NTP application, we must communicate with this system to this system. For communication, this type of system, we designed a device which name is timecoder. Timecoder gets 1 PPS and other type of signal from atomic frequency standard, and internally process this signals, and then sends some information to NTP server. The time coder also internally includes some clocks, and this clock, using this method, internal clock is synchronized to atomic frequency standard. And this NTP server gets time information from time coder, and according to this time code and some other electronic signal, the NTP server discipline internal clock using these signals and these codes. So using this method, the inside of this clock, in the NTP server clock, is synchronized to atomic frequency standard. So if any customer asks to time information from any NTP server responds with internal time. And if we use this system, all of this system, internal clock of NTP server synchronizes the time coder. And time coder is synchronized atomic frequency standard. Using this method, NTP server internal clock is synchronized atomic frequency standard. So atomic frequency standard is extremely accurate and extremely stable. So in your computer clocks is also not extremely, but good quality oscillator clocks. We designed a time dissemination system, time dissemination system, which includes 3 Stratum level 1 server for use, for example, one of them for internet, one of them for local area network. We also have a Ruby demonstrator option for secondary level usage, because in SASO side we use atomic frequency standard as a reference, but if another institute needs this type of system, which hasn't atomic frequency standard, needs some reference standard, so we can also supply with this system Ruby demonstrator plus GPS receiver. We see some pictures of our system to disseminate NTP system. So after finalizing first project of SASO time and frequency, the time server, which name is time.saso.gov.sa, is operational now. So you can take time information from this address using internet. This is open and no any charge. So using this system has some advantages, because every major operating system also supports the NTP, and its system is ready now. So for using NTP server in daily life, it's very easy. Depends on your operating system. If you are as a Windows customer, Windows user, Windows operating user, to make and your computer must be connected to internet, to make changes to adjust NTP server of SASO, you must right-click the time and date information, and then new Windows pop-ups, and you must select adjust date and time. Then, after selecting adjust date and time, you see some pictures, some window here. This windows, you see here 3 tabs. First one, date and time. Second one, additional clock. And third one is internet time. If you select the internet time, like this, and click the change settings buttons, like this, you see some, probably if you before you don't change, you see here as a Windows.com time server as a default server of all of the Windows machines. So you can easily change to this one, time.saso.gov.sa. So using this method, and after clicking update now, you see some message here. The clock was successfully synchronized with this one, SASO time. So using this method, and after clicking the OK, your computer will start to check time to time. Default is about 15 minutes. Your computer will check SASO time server and takes time information from SASO sites. And if there is a difference between your computer clocks and SASO time, computer will automatically adjust this time information. Using this method, your computer will be synchronized to SASO time server. You see here. Okay, if you are use a Linux environment, Linux operating system, Linux also supports to NTP. Normally, every distribution of the Linux version normally has NTP packet, but if you do not install before NTP, you must install NTP packet using this one as an example. Depends on your operating system, kind of Linux system. You must easily install NTP packet. After installing this one, you must edit NTP configuration file. Normally, default place to NTP configuration file, this one, NTP conf file under ATC directory. You can open this one, this configuration file, your favorite editing program, like Nano, like Kadit, whichever one to you. You must add this line, the configuration file, server, time SASO go SA, like this. And you must be careful because after installing this one, NTP configuration file may include some server name. If NTP configuration file has this type of server name, you must delete to this one, this. And then after completing editing the configuration file, you must need restart to computer, or you must, if you know, you must restart the NTP service. After that, to check if the Linux machine is connected correctly to NTP server, you can use, comes with NTP packet, you can use NTP query program with parameter this one. If you, in the command prompt, if you give this command, you must see like this line. At the beginning, after restarting NTP server, you can't see this multiply symbol here. After about 15 minutes later, if everything is okay, the system automatically puts this one here. This means that this server, time SASO server, is selected reference clock for your system. If you see this mark here. Okay, using this method, you can also check your system takes information from NTP servers also. Macintosh operating system, I'm not a good experience in Macintosh operating system. These pictures comes from my colleagues' computers. Normally it's easy. There is a clock button here, clock information here, right click again, and you can see open date and time preferences. And then normally the automatic settings is normally set here. To change to this one, you must click here. And after click here, you must give credible your password here. After entering your password, this line will be active, and you can change this one again, time SASO go SA. Using this method, your Macintosh operating system will also takes time information from NTP server. Okay, up to now, I am trying to give information how can use NTP time from internet. And you can say that internet is not reliable media. So our organization requires more secure way to get time information. If you need more secure type of time information, we have some solution also. Let's try to give information for this. First solution is, you can think that you have in your organization, you have a computer network here. So one of the computer of your network can transfer to SASO site. But don't worry, You will not lose your one of the server. We can buy new server for you, no problem. After making this change, we need some Ethernet connection from SASO side to your side. This connection may be fiber line, maybe leased line, maybe any other medium to carry any internet packets. Doesn't matter, it must not be fiber line. You can ask your ISP, internet service provider, to make some link between SASO side and your organization. Using this method, your network will be extended to SASO side. So this may, some IT person does not want to select this method because does not want to extend internal network to SASO side. If you think like this, we have another solution. This is spatial solution. In SASO side, we have atomic clock, and output of atomic clock is 1 PPS and 10 MHz signals. So we have installed some spatial system here in SASO side and some spatial system in your organization sites. This system must be connected with each other. Only single mode fiber line. This is special type of fiber line. So you must install, or some company must install this line. You can't use any Ethernet-based link here. It must be spatial type. And in your organization, we can supply to you NTP, 1 PPS, and 10 MHz, which means that we can transfer time of day information and frequency information to your site to use internally. Since this is not Ethernet-based line, Ethernet-based between these two organizations, using this method, the exact separation between your site and SASO site can supply. You can select one of them. Another option for time dissemination, we can supply to you a calibrated rubidium oscillator. Rubidium oscillator is different kind of atomic frequency standard. It has very long, very high stability also, like in cesium clocks. But the problem here, when this rubidium oscillator first power on, it starts to create 1 PPS signal. But this 1 PPS signal does not synchronize it to UTC second. To make synchronizing between UTC and this 1 PPS, we must install GPS system in your sites. Depending on your organization, you know that to working properly GPS system, we need open sky, which means if your organization impossible to put some GPS system, you can't use this one, or we need special type of GPS system for your organization. Using this method, we can also give to your site not only time of day information, we also supply to you frequency information also. Okay, up to now, I'm trying to give information about the NTP, but you know that technology is very fastly changed. Now, for time dissemination, methods also make some changes. First change is another protocol, which is next generation NTP. Protocol name is Precision Time Protocol, PTP protocol. The protocol was started for NIST, American Meteorology Institute, and 2002 final version is released by IEEE, also is a standard, and 2008 second version also released, but the second version names is also PTP version 2, but there is no backward compatible to version 1. In the NTP, the big uncertainty comes from like this. Any Ethernet controller after receiving packet for any Ethernet controller, puts this packet to some memory area and send some signals to operating system to process this packet. Depends on load factor of your server, to processing time of this packet may take time. And this time is not stable time, which means if operating system has no other process to process, as soon as finishing its work, it may be process your packets. So this is big uncertainty for NTP. In PTB, you see here another unit, hardware unit, hardware times 10 unit. When any packet receiving by Ethernet controller, this unit automatically puts some time information in this packet. So using this method, the big part of uncertainty may cancel it. So accuracy in PTP protocol may be less than 1 microsecond using this method. But the problem is, since this is very new technology and requires special equipment also to PTP working properly, Windows and Macintosh does not support natively this type of time dissemination method. Linux support this, but not so big support comes from the Unix. So you need special equipment also to take information from PTB. You see here, there is two types of clock in the PTB version. First one is Grandmaster clock, which is directly connected physical atomic standard. And another type of clock is boundary clock, which means you see another subnet here. You can put boundary clock to this network, and all of this device here takes time information from boundary clock. Boundary clock takes information from Grandmaster clock. Grandmaster also synchronizes it to atomic frequency standard directly. This type of PTB is very common, especially communication companies. You see here there is a PTB master. All of the communication company has lots of base station, and all of the to properly work 3G, 4G, and maybe next generation 5G network, all of the base station must be synchronized with each other. So to make this synchronization, they use PTB slave clocks here. There is a PTB master clocks here, and using this method, PTB protocol, all of this base station will synchronize base unit. And this base station also sends information your cell phone to synchronize also. Another new time dissemination method is White Rabbit project. This project is first developed for CERN. You know CERN, there is a big construction for physical experiment. The aim of this time dissemination method is sub-nanosecond synchronization between devices. To achieve sub-nanosecond accuracy, normally White Rabbit use PTB, but PTB has microsecond level uncertainty. To decrease this one is sub-nanosecond, White Rabbit also use some synchronous Ethernet protocol and some special phase detection system inside, DDM, TM, like this. Using all of this method, White Rabbit can achieve sub-nanosecond accuracy. You can think that White Rabbit project, you have distributed system. For example, there is somewhere in the building, there is an analog digital converter which gets some signals here. There is time difference meter here, and there is some DDS which creates some signals here. So all of this system must be synchronized to this one. After taking a data for each system, to show in the exact time information, every data must require some timing information also. But this timing information is so critical. So this type of accuracy only can made by White Rabbit system. To use White Rabbit system, you also need very special equipment. For example, first application in CERN, you see here, this is the CERN, how can I say, circular like this. You see here, 4.3 kilometers. And you see lots of devices distributed all of this circle. So lots of system here. So, and all of the activity controlled by control room. To make, for example, here a valve maybe is open. In that case, this system can, all of the system must be very highly accurate, synchronized. And using White Rabbit systems, White Rabbit devices, all of this system may accurate sub-nanosecond level. To show accuracy of this one, there is some experimental setup. You see here, this is a cesium clock, which is very stable. It supplies 10 megahertz to one of the special White Rabbit devices, White Rabbit switch here. And output of this one using 5 kilometer fiber sends another switch, another 5 kilometer here, another 5 kilometer here, and all of this system output using a oscilloscope here. This is the result. You see here, this is the cesium clocks, and first this one up to this one you see here. After 5 kilometers, sorry, you see the result. And the standard, about 25 picosecond level, the difference. Another one is about this and this. You see here, using special White Rabbit systems and White Rabbit devices, you can achieve picosecond level accuracy. So this is my presentation. Thank you for your attention.
الأخوة الحضور، نفتح الآن باب للاستفسارات والمناقشة.
To use internet is very cheap. Using internet is very cheap, but if you need another way, depends on your distance between your institute and your place and SASO sites. If you prefer Ethernet-based dissemination, this is not so expensive because use standard Ethernet media like leased line, like fiber or another method. But if you prefer the single mode fiber, the price may be high because it must someone must be installed special fiber cable between SASO and your site.
Condition, or can we go with?
Sorry again? Yeah. No. There must be no microwave. Direct connection. One site must be in SASO site and other site must be in your institute. There is no conversation from microwave or whatever. Okay.
تفضل. يجي كلام.
Major Wael from Royal Saudi Air Force, IT Department. I would like to ask if we go with the dedicated fiber optic to establish the connectivity from SASO to our data center.
Yeah.
What kind of equipment, additional equipment, do you need, to provide it in our site, to accomplish the connectivity?
For single mode fiber,
Yeah.
there is some special equipment which must, how can I say, the output of atomic clock is only 1 pulse per second plus 10 megahertz. To transfer this information to your site, we need some special equipment. There is some company to produce this type of equipment. Normally we buy this equipment and install, and one part is in SASO and another part in your organization. Using this method in your site, not only time of day information, also 1 PPS and 10 megahertz information will be in your site. So, for example, if you have a calibration activity, for example, and this time and frequency calibration activity, for example, you need a very high accurate source also to make time interval calibration like this. So using this method, you also make some calibration. Or if you need, for example, if you have some transceiver, for example, must be synchronized to reference, you also use these 10 megahertz for a reference also.
Yeah, for example, now in our current situation, we use 2 direct GPSs, and there is a receiver, and from that receiver, as an IP standard, we connect to our data centers, and we get that we sync, all our data center equipment, servers, and so on. It's sync with this GPSs. So after that, all from that layer to other layers until the user layer, we get this source. So I don't know. I assume that, for example, and if we have provide the media using STC service provider. So in our site, are we going to found or to install, like, for example, IP standard equipment, then we will connect it to our data center?
If you use first method, in that case, first method means we must install new server in SASO site, and there is a media to use Ethernet or any other Ethernet-based media, maybe fiber.
Server from your site.
From our site to your site. In that case, the computer, the server in SASO site may be your reference time server. And all of the synchronization process done in SASO site. So you can use this method, but say again, there must be a link, Ethernet link between your organization to SASO. Some IT does not prefer this method to some security issue, but I think you can put some hardware or software firewall in your site, because NTP only use 1, 2, 3 ports. You can only pass this data. You can make some rules, only pass NTP packet. Using this method, you can use your existing GPS system as a backup, and your reference comes from SASO sites.
And this server will be controlled and managed by your site, by SASO, right?
Depends on your requirement. It may or it may not. You can get all of the, how can I say, management functionality from SASO sites, and SASO site does not log in this system. SASO can only supply time information to this system. Using this method, anyone in the SASO lab cannot log on the system and also cannot log on your system. This is one option. Another option, all of control made by SASO sites, and you can, using some firewall, hardware or software firewall, you can describe to network. Some people can log on to SASO site computer, but cannot connect your sites also. Depends on your requirement.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, my name is Bilal from NX Middle East. When it comes to the third method about using a dedicated fiber, what are your thoughts about high availability here? Because I know that an entity that needs to go with dedicated fiber has quite critical requirements. And have you thought right now about having a high availability considered for this fiber?
If you compare the internet time dissemination, you know that internet maybe time to time there must be some problem in internet. In that case, if you use internet time dissemination and there is a problem with internet, your availability is decreased. So if you use dedicated fiber line, you continuously get time information from the SASO site. Availability, we use availability in that mean. It's clear?
Sorry, I'm not sure if I got your answer correctly or not. Do you mean that in this case I use a primary timing source and a secondary timing source?
No, not this is mentioned, because internet is not reliable media. Time to time we have some problem in internet. If you take time information from internet and no internet connections available, in that case your server can't get information from the SASO sites, because this service is only for internet sites. But if you use spatial server plus spatial line between two organizations, in that case, anytime you need the time information, you can get time information from SASO sites.
Yes, and my question was about this connection toward SASO site, if it's broken. I mean,
this is another problem. In that case, you must install, if so critical for time information for your organization, we can supply, or SASO can supply second method. They can put some rubidium oscillator, or depends on project, cesium oscillator in your site. Time to time, this rubidium oscillator can synchronize to, using fiber line, can synchronize to SASO main clock. If there is a problem between your organization and SASO, this rubidium can survive your system maybe up to one day. Depends on your requirement. We can create solution, no problem for, depends on your requirements.
Fine. And this fiber is maintained by SASO or by transmission company in this case?
No, I think this is ISP, if you prefer Ethernet, or if you need special one, in that case, maybe there must be some company to install and give service for this one.
All right, thanks.
Give a mic.
So, my question for Mr. Murad about are you working in any other application with using the e-signature, for example, for the telecom company on any other application now in Turkey?
In Turkey, actually, there. Let me rephrase your question. You are asking.
You mentioned many types of kind of using a signature for the application in Turkey, for example, the Justice and Ministry of Interior and other application. Now, are you working in any other application, for example, for any other, you're using the signature in Turkey?
Yeah, actually, there are, as I mentioned, hundreds of applications. We are in TÜBİTAK actually generating the standards, giving help to the regulatory authority and maintaining our libraries, our products, and the other companies, public and private, are making use of it. There are a lot of sectors, they are using electronic signature, and of course the telecommunication sector is also making use of the electronic signature. And I mentioned about the actually certification authorities, but there are also a lot of private organizational certification authorities. They make up their, for example, certification authority in their institution, and for example, they are using it for smart card logon to their computers. They are making use of, they are generating their own SSL certificates. They are making their VPNs. There are a lot of public and private organizations in Turkey making use of the PKI and the electronic certificates for these purposes. And telecommunication sectors, for sure. For example, I mentioned about 500,000 mobile electronic certificates. These certificates are distributed by the certification authorities in conjunction with the telecommunication companies. For example, maybe you have heard of the Turkcell, a mobile operating telecommunication company. It has distributed a lot of electronic certificates, and they are offering a lot of applications. Since, for example, there is a problem, what they are offering this mobile electronic signature, they want to make signatures on their tablets or on their smartphones. And sometimes it's difficult to develop application for these platforms, and they are using this mobile electronic signature style to sign the documents on those stuff. So they are offering applications this kind.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
ختاما تتقدم الهيئة السعودية للمواصفات والمقاييس والجودة بخالص الشكر والتقدير على حضوركم وتفاعلكم معنا هذا اليوم، والشكر موصول للمحاضرين الذين بذلوا جهدا في إعداد أوراق العمل. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.